A lot of companies will tell you that our people are our greatest asset. But the harsh reality is you can always replace people. The one thing you can never replace is time. Once an hour is gone, you can never have it back. And therefore, to my mind, time is your greatest strategic asset as an organization. So in this video, I want to explore the idea of strategic time management. Managing time as a strategic resource. Of course, when I say time as a strategic resource, I don't mean time in a timey-wimey physicsy sort of a way.
It's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
I mean people's time. So of course people are valuable. However, if you've got 100 members of staff, then you've only got 100 weeks of capacity every week to get things done. By Tuesday, you have already used or wasted 1/5 of that asset. So we need to be managing time as a strategic resource. We need to be carefully planning how we use it and making sure that we understand what's getting in the way of using it efficiently and effectively, because we don't report on the use of time on organisational balance sheets. Perhaps we should. At the start of the year, each member of staff may have 225, 230, 40 working days. If you've got a team of 100, then that's 22,000, 23,000 working days. Are you budgeting for how you're going to use those? Are you thinking about what are the things you could do with those 22,000 days? And what are the things that are going to deliver the greatest value to your organisation, to your bottom line, or to your client group? Because you should be. And that's really what this video is all about, how we can go about doing that. Too many organisations fail at delivering projects. And they fail not because they're rubbish at delivering projects or their people are not good project managers or their systems are poor. They fail because they try to take on too much. Every project that's a good idea gets the green light, and suddenly you've got too many things going on. Trying to keep the business operations running and trying to do all these projects, and suddenly you've got initiative overload. And the problem is that the projects that get the priority aren't always the ones that are most important. So what's really crucial for any organisation is to think at the start of each period, whether it's each quarter or each year, about the time budget that it has for its people, about the operational requirements and calls on that budget in order to keep the business or the organisation running smoothly, and therefore what's left. And then to prioritise the initiatives, the activities, the projects that it sets out up to the level of that resource. Each member of the senior management team should have a responsibility for some of those elements of the development of the organisation. And they should budget their individual time according to the relative priority and the relative calls on their time for each of those elements. And I would argue that we should be putting no more than 5% of our time as managers into our own personal administration. That leaves 95% of our time free to deliver value to our organisation, and it should be divided among something like 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 at most different areas, but no more. Having thought about the relative priority of those areas, we can allocate time during this kind of time period, whether it's a quarter or a year or a half year, according to the priority. But then, working with our direct reports, the managers who report to us, we should then be allocating their time to fit within those priorities, their operational responsibilities and the organisational development responsibilities that we have. And so, time allocation should filter down through the organisation. Everybody should know how they are going to be using their time, and the organisation should be confident that everybody should be using their time in a way that delivers maximum value to the organisation and to its stakeholders or shareholders or clients. What I recommend is that as a manager, you should be drawing up a quarterly time budget. You may have anything between 50 and 60 days in that quarter to spend on delivering value for your organisation. You should be allocating no more than 5% of that time to administration. Therefore, how are you going to allocate the other 95%? I'd argue that you should be thinking about what are your strategic responsibilities as a manager and dividing them into 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 at most areas, and then allocating the number of days to each, and then working through your calendar to make sure that you have the right balance. And because I think the greatest levels of personal productivity and effectiveness come when we plan ahead for the outcomes we want to achieve, think about what you can and should be achieving by the end of that quarter using the time that you've allocated. In fact, you can work it the other way around. You can start with the outcomes you want to achieve in each area of your responsibility and then allocate time to that. That's a perfectly reasonable way of working. Once you've done that, then you may find it helpful to sit down with each of the people who work for you and help them through the same process for themselves. Clearly, if you have operational members of staff who have a job to do and to do it all day, every day, then you don't need to do this exercise. But anyone who has a range of responsibilities should be time budgeting in this way. So time is a strategic asset. You have a fixed number of people in your organisation, and therefore within any period of time you have a fixed amount of time with which you can do stuff. If you are not managing that as a strategic asset, then you are at risk of squandering it, wasting it, and therefore not being productive. Personal time management is important for any manager, but as you rise up through your organisation, I would argue that your responsibility will start to extend to strategic time management and getting the best value for your organisation's most valuable strategic resource. Please do give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. There's loads more great Management Courses content to come, so please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.